This house doesn't clean itself, Tony. You're not a visitor here.
I have been sending money to this house every single month for 5 years. For this boy, for his school fees, his food, his future. And you turned him into your housekeeper?
Go and pack whatever belongs to you. Everything that is yours. You are leaving today.
What if the people who were supposed to protect you were the ones destroying you? Tony was 15 years old when he lost everything in a single phone call. His mother, his father, gone in one night. And the family that took him in didn't save him, they used him. For 5 years, Tony cooked, cleaned, scrubbed floors, and ironed clothes, not as a child of the house, but as its servant. Picture this: a beautiful home, 2 successful parents, a teenage boy named Tony who had everything a 15-year-old could want. His mother, Grace, was the kind of woman who laughed with her whole chest. His father, Daniel, was the man every son wanted to become. They had money, they had love, and they had big plans for their only son. But life doesn't ask permission before it strikes. On a rainy Thursday evening, Grace and Daniel were driving home from a dinner party when a truck ran a red light on the expressway.
Tony was home doing homework when the call came. His aunt walked into his room with that look on her face, and Tony already knew. He was 15 years old, and just like that, he was completely alone in this world. Tony's parents had a will, but wills mean nothing when the people around you decide they want something different. His father's brother, Uncle Raymond, stepped forward at the funeral, chest puffed, voice steady, big smile for the extended family. "Don't worry," he said. "He is my brother's son. He will stay with us. We will take care of him." Everyone applauded. Everyone went home. And the moment that door closed behind the last relative, Tony's life changed forever. The first morning, Aunt Vera handed him a mop.
This house doesn't
clean itself, Tony.
You're not a
visitor here. He thought it was temporary, just helping out, getting adjusted. It was not temporary. By the end of the first month, Tony had a schedule. Up by 5 in the morning, sweep the compound, mop every floor, cook breakfast for the entire house, wash the dishes, while his 2 cousins, 16 and 14 years old, slept until 9. While they got ready for school in matching uniforms with their hair done and their bags packed, Tony watched them leave every single morning, every single day. When he finally gathered courage and asked, just once, "Uncle, when do I go back to school?" Raymond didn't even look up from his newspaper.
School? You want to go to school?
You want to go to school?
First, learn how to be useful.
First, learn
Then we
how to
talk
be
about school.
useful. Then we talk about school. That conversation never happened again. 15 became 16, 16 became 17. Time moved. Tony didn't. While his mates were sitting for exams, choosing universities, falling in love, building futures, Tony was on his knees scrubbing bathroom tiles. And the cruelty wasn't just in the work, it was in the details. His cousins got new phones every birthday. Tony got nothing. The family went on holidays to Dubai, to London, to Cape Town, and Tony stayed behind, alone, cooking food for a house that had emptied out. "Someone has to watch the house," Aunt Vera would always say with a smile, as if it was a privilege, as if he should be grateful. Then, one evening, when Tony was 18, he overheard a phone call that broke something deep inside him. Vera was on the phone with someone, laughing, relaxed, and she said, "That boy is a blessing, I'm telling you. Free labor. I don't even need a housekeeper anymore."
Free labor. That's all he was to them. Not a nephew, not a child who had buried both his parents at 15, not a human being with dreams and a future, just free labor. But here is the thing about people who are broken quietly over years. They either collapse completely or they build something unshakable inside themselves. Tony chose to build.
Every night after the house went to sleep, he would pull out an old notebook hidden under his mattress and he would write. Notes, ideas, things he read in old newspapers left around the house. English grammar, mathematics he remembered from years ago in school. He was teaching himself, in the dark, in silence, because he refused, absolutely refused, to let them take his mind the way they had taken his time. Now let's talk about Celine. Celine was Tony's mother's sister, a woman who had built a university from the ground up, sharp, driven, and deeply private. After Grace and Daniel died, she had fallen into her work the way grieving people do, burying the pain under achievement. She sent money to Raymond's household every few months. For Tony's upkeep, she always said, for his school fees and his future. She had no idea that money never reached Tony. Not a single time. Then one afternoon, almost 5 years after the accident, Celine decided to visit. No phone call, no warning. She drove herself to Raymond's house, rang the bell, and waited. The door opened, and standing in the doorway was a young man she almost didn't recognize. Thin, tired eyes, wearing a worn-out shirt 2 sizes too big. Hands rough and cracked from years of hard work. But the face was her sister's face. Grace's face staring back at her through this broken young man. Tony? He stared at her for a moment, like he was afraid she wasn't real. Auntie Celine? She looked past him into the house. The floors were spotless. The kitchen was immaculate. The compound was swept clean. And somewhere in the background, she could hear his cousins laughing, watching television, completely unbothered. Something cold and heavy moved through Celine's chest. Tony, she said quietly, where is your school uniform? He looked down at his feet, and that silence told her everything. Celine walked into that living room like a storm that had been patient for far too long. Raymond stood up with his big smile, the same smile he used for every crowd, every occasion. Ah, Celine, what a surprise! We were just... How long? Her voice was quiet. That is the most dangerous kind of quiet. How long has Tony not been in school? Raymond looked at his wife. His wife looked at the floor. His daughters suddenly found their phones very interesting. He's been adjusting. You know how these things take time. Raymond! One word, like a door slamming shut. I have been sending money to this house every single month for 5 years. 5 years.
For this boy,
for
his school fees,
for
his food, his future.
his food,
And
his
you turned him
future.
into your housekeeper?
And you turned him into your housekeeper? Vera tried to defend herself. Now, Celine, you don't understand how things work here. This boy needed structure, needed discipline. Discipline? Celine laughed, and it was not a kind laugh at all.
Your
daughters are teenagers
sitting on that
sitting
sofa
on
right
that
now,
sofa
while a
right
20-year-old
now,
man mops
while a
your floors.
20-year-old man
Don't
mops
talk to me
your
about
floors.
discipline.
Don't talk to me
Go
about
and pack
discipline.
whatever belongs to you.
The
Everything
room
that is
went
yours.
completely
You are
silent.
leaving today.
She turned to Tony. Go and pack whatever belongs to you. Auntie, everything that is yours, you are leaving today. For the first time in 5 years, Tony cried.
Celine didn't just take Tony out of that house. She took him to London, enrolled him at a university where she had strong connections, paid for everything: tuition, accommodation, a laptop, books, clothes, a completely fresh start.
But more than any of that, she sat with him for 3 days straight, just talking, listening to 5 years of silence, finally becoming words.
Tony graduated 4 years later with a first-class degree. The boy who taught himself mathematics in the dark by the light of a cracked phone screen he found in a drawer, finished at the top of his class. His lecturers said they had never seen someone with that level of hunger to learn.
That level of discipline, that kind of focus. What Raymond and Vera meant to break him, God used to build him. And Celine did not forget what happened. She went back home and called a family meeting.
Every relative who stood at that funeral, every person who applauded Raymond when he said he would take care of his brother's son. She laid everything on the table. 5 years of bank transfer records, money she had sent month after month that was never used for Tony.
She told them everything she saw when she walked through that door. Everything Tony had shared with her during those 3 days.
Raymond tried to talk. Vera tried to explain. But when the evidence is on the table, words are just noise. The entire family saw Raymond and Vera for exactly what they were. The respect they had built over decades crumbled in one afternoon.
Their children, those same daughters who went to Dubai and London while Tony scrubbed their bathrooms, had to live with the weight of what their parents had done. And Raymond and Vera never recovered from that day. Not their reputation, not their relationships, not their peace.
Tony is doing well today. He has a career, he has his dignity, he has Celine. And every time someone asks him how he survived 5 years inside that house, he says the same thing.
They took my time. They took my childhood. But they couldn't take the part of me that decided I still had a future. Some of you watching this right now are in your own version of that house. Maybe not physically, but in a job, a relationship, a family situation where people have quietly decided that your value is only in what you do for them, not in who you are, not in what you could become. This video is for you.
Your Celine is coming. But while you wait, keep that notebook under the mattress. Keep learning in the dark. Keep building in silence. Because the day your story turns around, it will turn so completely that the people who counted you out won't even recognize you. If Tony's story moved you, drop a "da" in the comments right now and share it with someone who needs to hear it today. And subscribe, because next week we have a story that will make even the strongest person in the room go completely silent. I'll see you then.